I recently unboxed the brand new xTool M2 with you. And in that unboxing, I went very quick on all of the really cool features that the brand new machine offers. In today's video, we're going to slow it down and we are going to focus on one feature at a time. In this video, we are going to be talking about the ink cartridge that the xTool M2 offers and why it is so much better than the M1 Ultra. And just a little sneak peek as to what you're going to get in the rest of this video, I am also going to do a side-by-side comparison between what can print with the xTool M2 ink cartridge and also what it would look like if you printed on a UV printer and then cut it on the M2, because you can use multiple machines if you have it. I would like to preface that I do know that xTool is coming out with a UV printer, but I don't have that UV printer here in my craft room right now. So I'm going to be using the Make UV printer to print my UV print and then cut it on the M2. I'm not going to really show you how to use all of that because I got other videos for that. Really, what we're just going to highlight today is going to be the cool new ink cartridge that the M2 offers and how to do a print and cut with this machine. And it's not what you would think that xTool says. I do it a little bit differently just because it ensures great cuts. Now, before we get into anything more in going into the software, what I do want to do is kind of reverse back a little bit about the unboxing, okay? I made this in the unboxing. It looks great, but there is a little bit of bleeding that happens. Not too bad. I mean, I think that this looks great, and I would definitely gift this and use it for a cake topper. However, you can see that there is a little bit of bleeding that has happened. So what you want to do is get some sort of primer spray. I got this from xTool. You could also get like gesso. It's Gesso paint. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's what you want. You're going to want to prep your wood with something that will make it to where it won't bleed. Unlike doing a UV print, you don't have to prep anything and it still won't bleed, but just know this right here was uncoated and it did bleed. We are going to coat today's wood to ensure that it doesn't bleed. And I will show you how I do a UV print because it's so much easier. But also, let's go and talk a little bit about the difference between this ink cartridge and the M1 Ultra. Okay, the M1 Ultra, if you had it, I had it, and it's a great machine. But there are two things that I didn't really care for it. One being no camera, and the second one being that the ink cartridge was only CMY. Not a terrible option. However, what happens here is with the lack of having black in your ink cartridge, your black colors, like something like this, wouldn't be as rich as what you see here. Because we have black ink, you have rich black color. Because there was no black ink in the M1 Ultra ink cartridges, the color of the richness of a black is just not there. Now, was that like a make or break for me on that machine? No, but I would think that the print quality has definitely got a lot better because they now have black in their ink cartridges. But the downside is your ink cartridge is just that, an ink cartridge that has all the colors into one cartridge, as opposed to like, let's say, a UV printer where you have each individual cartridge is each individual color. That being said, the ink cartridge for this is significantly cheaper than UV ink. So keep that in mind. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to spray my wood with this. Then, after I'm done doing that, we'll head over into the xTool Studio, do a little bit of design work, not a whole lot because there ain't a whole lot to do for this project. And then we'll set up the machine and I'll show you how I would suggest you to do a print and cut project on this machine, just so it ensures that you don't have any mess ups, because if you don't do it right, you can mess up your stuff, and I don't want you to do that. So let me spray this. We'll go to the studio. Let's go. Now, before we head over into the xTool Studio, I'm over here in Creative Fabrica because I have to tell you, and if you know me, you do know I love Creative Fabrica for quick and easy PNG files that I can just grab and go and start just crafting. Okay. So I found this really cute. I mean, it's a whole bundle with really cute stuff. So I'm just going to download this, wait for it to download. If you wanted to also create anything with these PNG files, I'll have it linked, the actual file that I'm using, in the description of this video. But what you want to do is you want to head over into the xTool Studio. I already have a new window pulled up and connected to my xTool M2. You can see that I'm already connected over here on the right hand side. My machine is turned on and I am connected via Bluetooth, or I'm sorry, Wi-Fi. There's no computer connected anywhere. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to upload my PNG file that I want to print for today's project. So I think I'm going to do this cute, but a little bit crabby, because to be honest with you, that is me. I can get crabby. So I'm going to drag and drop this into the xTool Studio. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to have some sort of cut. Okay, because right now there's nothing being cut. Okay, this is only a print. So what I'm going to do is I am going to come over here into trace, and I'm going to trace this. Okay, I want to make sure that I get everything traced because I'm going to make like a big shadow of this. Okay, so let me just, okay, got this. This is all nice and traced. You can see that everything that I want on the outside is showing. So I'm going to press save. And then if you come over here and move, this right here is technically going to be your cut lines, but I definitely don't want to cut all of those. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here into offset, and I'm just going to create a big offset. All right, then I'm going to do outer shapes only. Then I'm going to press confirm. Okay, so this right here is going to be my cut file. So if we drag this over here, see how this is nice? Oh, let me delete this because I don't want this anymore. Okay, see how these two things are like perfect? The shadow and everything looks good. If you wanted to create a cake topper, all you would need to do at this point is add in a rectangle. So over here at this little square box, you would see rectangle, click on that, and then you can just drag and make a rectangle. And then you would put these together. You would select your offset plus your rectangle, and you would come over here into combine and then union. How easy is that to create? So we have already within a few minutes, was it even a few minutes? Maybe it was like a minute and a half. We already have a print and cut all within one software that you are going to be able to do everything with one machine. Fabulous. So quick, so easy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, this is a 5-inch wide. I'm going to do it a little bit smaller. I'm going to do a 3-inch wide cake topper. Okay, I'm going to just put this in the center of my screen for right now. What we need to do now is we want to come over here into the laser mode, and this is where things are going to be a little bit different. Okay, I know that xTool has this multi-module processing feature where technically you would just do everything all in one step. You would print first, then you would switch out the head and then cut. Then you wouldn't have to do any other setup within the software. However, I personally do not like doing this. And even when it came to the xTool M1 Ultra, I didn't like doing this because, and this is what they do tell you, when you're doing the multifunction, what you have to do is while the machine is technically halfway through its entire process, you have to come here and take out this head, or you would take out the ink cartridge and then you would replace it with this head. However, here's the problem that I have with doing it that way, is that if you were to ever so slightly move this, and it will move, it's pretty easy to move. If this were to ever move, what happens is it's going to then make your cut be a little off, because the machine doesn't really understand that, hey, you just moved it like a half an inch to the right. And so everything is just going to be not line up correctly. Now, the great part about this machine is there's multiple cameras. So lining up your cuts is not hard at all. Okay, so just watch what I do here. We're ready to start printing. So I'm going to take my lid off. This is my lid. In the xTool M2, there is going to be these two things that are right here. See these two things right here? You're going to slide that into the area. Okay, you're going to put this in. I really like this part of the machine because before the M1 Ultra, you had to there was like a clamp lever thing. It's all magnetic. And then over here, you still have to plug in the USB-C. But this is now set up and ready to go. So the printing is ready. Now this right here is those new clamp things. I can tell you that I think it's really cool. However, I have seen other creators not really care too much about these little clamp things. I actually thought they were kind of cool. But yeah, there's a few people that aren't really caring for it. But all you have to do is just clamp down your material. All right, and my wood isn't fully dry yet. It does say on the back of the bottle that you have to let it dry for 40 and 60 minutes. It clearly has not been that long, so I'm going to heat it up with a heat blower and speed up this process because I do not want to wait an hour or 40 minutes for this to dry. All nice and dry. So what we need to do now is we need to press the inkjet printing. I only want to do the inkjet printing right now. All right, now what we want to do at this point in time is shut the lid on the xTool M2 because that is going to start the automation. Okay, I love that this is fairly automated, which is great. So I'm going to shut the lid. What's going to happen now is you can see that the head is moving. It's going to move forward. It's going to take a capture of what we have in our machine. It's also going to do like a manual focus too to make sure that we're going to have perfect cut settings. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do material. I'm going to switch this over. I am using wood and it's going to be this 1/8 3mm basswood plywood. Okay, so I'm just going to click apply. And because I love to conserve on material, I'm going to drag and drop this over here to the right-hand side just so to make sure that I can conserve on material. All of this right here is for next time. Now there is a little bit of a customization that you could do is you can come over here and modify your parameters. And what you would do is over here in inkjet printing, or I'm sorry, in concentration, you can increase the concentration. The more concentration is more ink that's going to get applied to the wood. I'm going to leave it at 60%. Okay. What I'm going to do now though is I'm going to press process. You can see that it's going to be just a printer. It is going to take 2 minutes. We don't have to do any type of smoke or anything else like that because we're just printing. And I'm going to press start. At the front of the machine, there is going to be a button. All right. I don't think if you can see it, but there's a button. You're going to press the start button. Now what's happening is the print, or I guess the laser, the xTool M2, it is now going to start the printing process. It is only printing. Okay, so now that it's done printing, I'm going to open up the lid and you're going to see, I got my cute little thing right here. Ooh, don't shake this too much. I got my cute little thing right here. Looks amazing. What you want to do now is take this off. Okay, so unplug this and take this off. The lid, remember we put that lid here? The lid is now magnetized right here. There is this like foam thing that's in here that's moist. I know there's people that hate that word. I used to hate that word, but you know, with me by saying it a whole bunch, I got used to it. So anyways, this right here is moist or damp with some liquid. So it's going to keep your printer head nice and not clogged. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to insert your laser head. This right here is a 10 watt. They offer multiple different options, but I have a 10 watt. I'm going to plug this in and I'm going to magnetize it to the machine. All right. Then what we're going to do is over here at the xTool Studio, you're going to change the mode over to lasering. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to shut the lid. What's going to happen is the automation, the same automation that we did earlier, is it's happening now. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to take off my print. I don't need that. And I am going to line up my cut with my already printed object. Now, if you wanted to, you can come over here and you can do a close-up and you can hover over your actual print. That is going to take a close-up picture of this. We're just going to make sure that it looks like it's going to line up. Okay. I am going to keep my settings that xTool suggests because we've already selected the material that we're using. I am going to come over here and press cut. They already give me select different material settings. I'm not going to dabble around with any of that. Okay. So I'm going to do now is I'm going to press process. And then this right here is going to take 1 minute and 19 seconds. What you want to do now though is because we are using the laser feature is you want to either be venting out of a window or you want to be using your air filter. I'm going to be using an air filter. Okay. So I'm going to turn that on. It's going to get kind of loud in here. Then what we're going to do is we are going to press start. At the front of the machine, we are going to press the button at the front. Oh, that's off. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no, brown cow. Hold on. Hold on here. That up close shot. Let's just stop. That up close shot did me dirty. Okay, now that it's back to the house, let me open this up. Do you see this cut? This cut is cutting my actual sign. Hold on here. This ain't good. That was not cute. Let me shut this again. It's going to do another automation. We're going to have to reprint this for sure. Okay, my cut, when I don't do the close-up feature, you can see where my cut is. It's going to be off. Let me come down here and let me put this down here. And let's just process this and see what happens now. Yes, the cut is going, what I have here is not going to look good. I'm going to redo the print. Okay. I'm going to keep the, I failed on the first try. We're just going to press start. Okay. Turning on the fan, doing the button at the front of the machine. This is going to cut. It better be good this time. All right. So cut 2 did work. Clearly we have not a good cut because you know what happened, right? That close shot thing really did me dirty right there. So we're going to reprint this. 1 minute and 18 seconds later, we have a finished looking good cake topper. Woohoo! The prints look exactly the same on both of these cake toppers. Obviously one cut terribly and the other one cut perfectly, right? And compare this to this, you're going to see there is some bleeding. It's not terrible, but do you see how it's just fuzzy and not as crisp on the edges? Okay, this right here is crisp on all of the edges. So a little bit of prep work does the body good. Now I'm sitting here waiting for my Eufy Make to get done printing. So let's chat a little bit about the longevity of the ink and how it's going to last. With the xTool M1 Ultra, I printed on this slice of wood when I first got that machine a few years ago. And I still have it because I think it's really cool because it's the first time I was ever able to print on wood. And this is what it looks like a few years later. It was much brighter when I printed it 2 years ago or 3 years ago, however long it was. But over time, the ink has definitely faded. And it's not really that it fades. The wood is porous. And so what happens is the wood is just soaking up the ink. Okay. Now I did replicate the same exact print over on my Eufy Make UV printer last year. And this is what it looks like after a year. There is a vast difference between the two. Now, there is a huge difference in print quality when it comes to the Eufy Make UV printer or any UV printer and the ink cartridge that we have for the xTool M2. That doesn't make the xTool M2 a machine that I wouldn't suggest you purchasing because the affordability of the xTool M2 or even the M1 Ultra is thousands of dollars cheaper than a UV printer. But just know when you climb up and you get the more expensive machines, the quality that you're going to be able to print is obviously going to be better, but you are spending thousands of dollars more. So that's just something to keep in mind, okay? Longevity wise, this right here is going to last for years and years and years. And this right here is just going to continue to fade as it has for the last couple years. I did prep this with the gesso, the gesso paint, and it still is doing the fading. So this right here also will do the same thing. It will start to fade, but I mean, this right here looks amazing. This print looks amazing. Now the machine, the Eufy, still isn't done printing. So we were already printed and cutted, printed and cutted. That sounds really ridiculous, but we were already done making this. It was like 3 minutes in 2, 3. It was about 4 minutes to print and cut this all with one machine. And that is not the case with doing the Eufy and then here. So there's more time that it's going to take. Yes, the print quality is going to look better. But like if you're looking to like get this done real quick, clearly we still waiting and we still have to cut the thing out, you know? So let's continue to wait. All right, now that that's done printing, it ended up printing a little bit larger than the actual print, although the measurements were exactly the same. So I'm kind of confused on that. But look at the print quality between the two, the difference in them right away. This right here is much more vibrant than this. This, though, however, has a little bit of a ridge to it. Like it feels a little bit bumpy versus this feels like it's one with the actual cake topper. So two very different. I mean, you can tell there's a vast difference between the two already. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing as we did with this cake topper. Obviously, I'm going to have to make the cut a little bit bigger because this thing is bigger. I think I made it too close to the edge because you can see it's really close, but whatever, okay? Then what we're going to do is we are going to press finish on the xTool Studio. I am going to shut the lid on the M2. We are going to have to make this larger. By how much, I'm not sure. This ended up taking, it took 8 minutes and 25 seconds actually. Then let's go over into the xTool Studio. We have the live preview. Let me make this larger to accommodate for the larger size. You are going to see that it is going to cut off. Do you see how the lines are there? It's going to get cut off no matter what I do because I put that print too close to the edge. I'm going to try and make this as beautiful as possible, but I am going to get like a miscut there. So don't judge it too hard, okay? So we are done. I'm just going to press process. It's going to take 1 minute and 32 seconds as opposed to 1 minute and 19. We're going to press the front button on the machine. Oop, I got to turn on my fan. All right, we are done cutting. Let me open up the lid, slide out this new cake topper, and here we go. Our second cake topper. And definitely a huge difference between the print. One's far more vibrant than the other one, but this one that's printed with the xTool M2 straight up does not look terrible. You know what I mean? This is going to cost you thousands of dollars extra to purchase a UV printer, and this one you can all do it all in one, which is great. Now, the one thing that I do know and have figured out is clearly I need to do some sort of close-up calibration because that first cut was terrible. But with a little bit of knowledge on how to troubleshoot, I was definitely able to get a really cute little cake topper or sign or anything like that. And just to show you the difference between doing a separate machine, bringing it over is not impossible. Definitely very easy to accomplish. Took a little bit longer to make this, but in the end was totally a possible project. Very easy, seamless, I would say. And also, I know that I just did only wood, but you would do the same exact process if you were doing like sticker paper, if you wanted to do that. I am not going to do that because that's not something that I would generally do with the M2, only because I think that it shines as a laser most versus using the Cricut, because like if I were to do it, I would just use my Cricut anyways, because my inkjet printer prints faster. But being able to do things like this with one machine, you would not be able to do this on the Cricut. This is why I chose to do this on the M2, is because a project like this would be impossible on the Cricut. That is for sure. Doing all one in one swoop is so much cooler on one machine. All right, y'all. In the next deep dive video of the xTool M2, we are going to go over the rotary attachment tool, because I really think that the new rotary attachment tool with the M2 is super cool and super easy to use. And so I can't wait to do a full deep dive on that attachment, because I definitely think it's something worth talking about. I'll see you on the next one.